Hi, good morning. So for today's lecture session, we're gonna discuss the salient features of the Indian Constitution in detail. So first and foremost, that our Indian Constitution is a written constitution which was framed by the Constituent Assembly, which was established in the year 1946 for the very purpose of drafting a constitution for our country. To understand what is the difference between a written constitution and an unwritten constitution, we need to understand how many types of constitutions are there. So there are basically two types of constitution around the world. The first and the modern written constitution was of the American Constitution, whereas the British Constitution is an unwritten constitution which basically consists of customs, conventions which have grown over the years and that has been incorporated in practice. There is no consolidated or a combined bookish form of constitution if we talk in context to the British Constitution. Whereas our Indian constitutional framers tried to put a constitution which was in a consolidated and written form so that everything is in black and white. So now from that discussion where we have discussed that the written and unwritten form constitution, we have discussed the various examples as well. Primarily the American Constitution while drawing a contrast between the Indian Constitution. Moreover, there are we can further classify a constitution as a federal and a unitary constitution as well. Now, to understand what is a federal and what is a unitary constitution, the basic bifurcation between the two can be done on the basis of division of power, which is between the center and the state. And in accordance to that only, the constitution is classified into two groups. First being a federal constitution, the second being a unitary constitution. A federal constitution is a constitution in which the state has its own power and the center only shares important powers. The example of a federal constitution can be the US Constitution. Now, what do we understand by the term federal? The federal term specifies that they have their own structure of the state and most of the powers which are exercised by the state or by their own legislatures, the center intervenes only when it comes to national security and other relations. To have a briefer discussion about it, if we take out the example of the US Constitution, their federal structure is basically consolidating powers to the state, and the center only intervenes when the subject matter is of national security or any other relations. Otherwise, in practice, all the other decisions are taken by the state only. Whereas a unitary form of a constitution is one where most of the powers are vested with the union, and the state becomes the immediate delegate of the union. And the very good example of that form of constitution is the British Constitution. Now we come to the question, what is the Indian Constitution, or what form of constitution that the Indian Constitution is, whether it's a unitary or whether it's a federal form of. So if you look at our Indian Constitution, it is kind of a mix of both. It has both the features of a federal as well as a unitary constitution. Hence, we sometimes go to the length of calling it as a quasi-federal constitution. Moving on to the other, moving on to the other uh, features of our constitution is that it is one of the longest constitution ever made. So India's constitution is one of the, or if I put it into better words, it is the longest constitution in the world. Originally, it only had 395 articles, which were divided into 22 parts and 8 schedules. Uh, Throughout the passage of time, a number of amendments have been made, and since its incorporation, we have become like those amendments have become the part of the constitution. Today, our constitution has 444 articles, which are divided into 22 parts and has 12 schedules. Whereas if we draw a contrast between the rest of the world's constitution, the US Constitution has only 7 articles, whereas the Chinese Constitution has 138 articles and the Japanese Constitution has 103 articles, whereas the Canadian Constitution has 107 articles. Our Indian Constitution became lengthy due to the following factors. If we discuss the factors which contributed to it being one of the lengthiest constitution in the world, the present slide will try to put together some of those factors which resulted into a lengthy constitution. So first and the foremost thing is that our constitutional framers or the constitutional fathers wanted to put everything in detail so that there is nothing else which was left out. Moving on, the other federation, the two constitutions, one for a federation and the other for the state. But in India, we do not have a separate constitution. We have a consolidated constitution in which the powers of the states along with the power of federations have been consolidated and have been put together into a single constitution. The Government of India Act 1935 was in operation when our country got independence, and since our leaders were like familiar with this act, they borrowed heavily from the particular act while framing our constitution. Since our country is a country of a great diversity, it has several minorities, it has many languages, castes, race, and other religions. So there was a problem of incorporating all the interest of everybody, keeping in mind that nobody is left out and their problems are properly redressed in this particular constitution. Hence, our constitution became a lengthy one. Moving on to the good features which have been incorporated in our constitution with necessary modifications. See, we have borrowed a lot of things from other constitutions as well, but they have been altered or amended in accordance to the needs of our particular country and cannot be said that they have been, you know, newly devised by the constitutional framers. For example, the Bill of Rights from the American Constitution has been incorporated as the fundamental rights. The parliamentary form of government has been borrowed from the British Constitution. The directive principle of the state policies has been borrowed from the Irish Constitution. While including these elements of other constitutions in our constitution, the chairman of the drafting committee, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, said that they have tried to remove the faults and they have tried to amend those things or they have tried to suit those things for our prevalent conditions. Many members of the Constitution Assembly were also lawyers and politicians. That is why the Constitution has been a lengthy one which discusses everything in great detail. They have not only made the Constitution long, but they have in order to eliminate the discrepancies, there's a side like there's a downside to it also. They have made the Constitution extremely complicated as we can also term our constitution as a rigid yet flexible constitution. Well, the question arises, what do we call a rigid constitution and what can be termed as a flexible constitution? So it depends on the nature of the amendments or how the changes can be incorporated at a later stage in a particular constitution. If we take out the example of a rigid constitution, the US Constitution is a rigid constitution. But why? Because it is very difficult to amend any part or article of the US Constitution, whereas our Constitution is a flexible one. The provision of Article 368 provides for amendment and it empowers a legislature to amend the Constitution according to the needs of the prevalent situation if and when required. Some provisions of the constitutions can be amended by the parliament with simple majority, whereas the amendment of most of the provisions of the constitution requires a special majority in both the houses of the parliament. There are some other provisions of the constitution which cannot be amended by the parliament alone. There are different amendment procedures to make our constitution partly flexible and partly rigid. See, if we look at this particular slide, we say on one hand that we can amend the constitution easily, and on the other hand, we are saying that the constitution is sort of a rigid constitution as well. Why? Because those safeguards has been incorporated in the constitution in itself in order to protect any misuse at a later stage so that the basic structure or the basic essence of the constitution can never be diluted by any subsequent constitutional amendment. In case of such a provision of amending bill, whereas like if we want to amend a constitution, first it needs to be approved by the both of the houses of parliament by special majority with the support of 2/3 of the member of each house present and voting. Then it has to be ratified by the legislatures of at least half of the states of the India. Then only a constitution can be amended. Our constitution, any provision or any article can be amended. In fact, there is a balance between rigidity and flexibility in our constitution. Some amount of flexibility was introduced in our constitution in order to encourage its growth. Nehru feared that if the constitution is too rigid, it will be stagnant. So, in order to keep the constitution a little dynamic and adapting to the current situations or any further situation which might arise at a later stage, the constitution was somewhat made a little flexible as well. All right. So moving on from there, then we discuss the organs of a particular state, which we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.